Hey, thanks Wes. Nice review on that jazz. Wasn't that a nice review, folks? Hey, make sure you leave him a nice comment because he did such an awesome job. I'm just kidding. I'm joking with him. Inside joke. Garrett here. Going to continue with this collaboration set of videos on the animated Elite Guard, Autobot Elite Guard. And my part is going to be on animated Blurr. By the way, I know different setup. Table's a big mess. My usual setup is out of whack right now, so this is doing this a little bit different. Anyways, okay, animated Blurr. First shows up in Velocity, although we don't necessarily at the time, we're not supposed to know it's him, but I think most of us were, it was pretty safe to assume for us that it was. He is referred to as the mysterious Blue Racer by Bumblebee, who assumes that he must be a Decepticon because, well, at least Cybertronian, and if he's Cybertronian, probably a Decepticon because he gets beat, because, you know, Bumblebee thinks he's the fastest thing, and, you know, if something beats him, it must be Cybertronian. He is being actually unwillingly controlled during that episode, by the way, by Master Disaster, who has an illegal underground street racing syndicate known as Speed Demons, which Bumblebee are big fans, and he kind of gets wrapped up in the middle of all the stuff that's going on with them, and that's how they run across Blurr. Of course, by the end of the episode, they destroy Master Disaster. I'm having a Thunderdome moment. Control on Blurr, and Blurr basically takes off, disappears. And we don't see anything out of him again until Bridge Too Close, episode 1 and 2, where they do officially then introduce him as Blurr. Blurr is kind of the covert intelligence officer for the Elite Guard, Ultra Magnus, and then leave him behind when they leave Earth to take Starscream back to Cybertron. You know, just to keep an eye on Prime and the Autobots and gather information, see if their story pans out. Of course, you know, later on he does figure out that they're telling the truth and helps them fight Megatron and the other Decepticons at the space bridge. Sucked off into space, some miscellaneous spot where we find out not only is he super fast, but he's also able to literally run across space, and finds his way back to Cybertron, where he, unfortunately, as we know, meets his demise thanks to two things. One, Shockwave crushes him, and a trash compactor, well, in between walls like a trash compactor, and two, Hasbro and Cartoon Network fell out and animated ended. Because, you know, as we know, his spark was still alive inside the crushed cube. But I think of the animated line, this is definitely one of my top favorites, because it's just a really sweet little sports car mode, futuristic Cybertronian sports car. I mean, in fact, you know, as I've been looking at this to prepare for this video, I'm seeing a lot of similarities between this alt mode and Revenge of the Fallen Sideswipe. Coincidence? I don't know. So yeah, very cool. Cybertronian mode. Now, one little thing. In my Revenge of Fallen Jolt video, one of the things I didn't like about it was he was all blue. But it was all pretty much the same blue. There was very little other values of blue on him. Whereas there's a lot of different values of blue. You've got these dark blues, light blues, this electric blue details. There's enough here, enough details showing in different values of blue that break it up for me, and I tend to like it a lot more. Oh, and he has a little weapon, by the way, which mine doesn't work very well, I will say. I usually have to, well, let's just help him out. This little energon blade that pops out from underneath his hood, which you can use later on in his robot mode. Now for robot mode, oh, real quick, now, if you don't have this guy yet, if you're a holdout, for some crazy reason you still don't have him, first off, I highly recommend him, but if you're one of those folks that don't like it when the design doesn't hide all the robot parts, you do have his torso on the bottom and a big gaping hole in the back where his head is showing. Here's his head right here. Don't let that bother you. Your eyes are going to be so distracted by the just amazingly cool, sleek form of the rest of the car, you won't even notice it, I promise you. Alright, so to transform this, we're going to take these two wheel hubs here, just separate them a little bit so that we can take off the hood. Interesting design. You know, you're looking at this, if you look at the bottom, you're thinking, oh, here's his arms, here's his legs. Actually, it's the complete opposite. These actually are his legs, these are his arms. I want to separate his legs first, if they'll come off. He is very, very tight. I think it's really cool. There's a little slot right here that is just the perfect shape that his hands, when you put him in his robot mode, actually basically become a peg that peg in to this little slot underneath his leg, which was just a little design detail that I originally didn't notice until, again, I started getting ready for this review. Okay, now, his arms, you're just going to kind of, I've done this a few times and they keep popping off, so I'm trying to be very careful so that this doesn't come off again while I'm trying to do this bit. But they're going to, come on, come on, come on, there we go. It didn't come off that time, excellent. So his arms, which peg in up underneath here, are going to come out this way. So I get this one without it popping off. It's mostly the forearm section. There we go. I have to get, you kind of have to, I have found loosen this a little bit first before you pull this off. Otherwise, for some reason, this comes out, leaving the forearm behind. Anyways, his legs are just going to fold down like so. Okay, we're going to turn them around. His arms, we can get ready to get in position. This little piece of the roof of the car is going to fold down and then back up like that. Okay, bring his arms up, snap them into place, rotate him around, rotate his forearms, flip his head around. Oh yes, and then his feet, which actually you can kind of spin those around so that this piece here becomes his toe, this becomes a heel spur. So flip that around, that up, and that up. Yeah. And there you have his robot mode. A very, very accurate, I think, version of what we saw on the show. Very, very show accurate mold. Again, there's enough different values of blue and details painted that the overly blue figure works in this mode. He has very, very skinny little legs, which at first you might think are going to be a little delicate, but it turns out they're really not too bad. They're not very delicate at all. They're pretty sturdy, you know, and his feet will rotate very well, and he's got nice knees. His legs go, well, all the way around. I say that, and there we go. He was getting stuck. He got stuck on his butt. His arms, because of these shoulders, sometimes kind of get hung up right here, but, you know, again, who really sits there and plays with them like this? I don't know. But yeah, all in all, nice figure. Oh yes, and then you can also take this piece, pop his blade out, a little hole right there, and a peg underneath that will just peg right there into that hole, and he can have a weapon with the blade out, or you can put the blade up and you can have a little shield. But an excellent, excellent figure. Like I said, if you don't have them yet, if you've been holding out, go get one. Alright, next, you've read about him, you've heard about him, the amazing Transformer from the Great White North, Sea Spray with Safeguard. Yeah, that's right. So check him out. We'll see you guys later. Bye.